Mr. Barry, and he says, "Good morning, everyone." He says, "Mr. Daniel, why is it not advisable to pay cash or a lot of cash when buying a home? I'm always thinking, don't get into debt. Please advise." All right. Listen, folks, I want to answer that. I want to show that on the screen. And I want to take this question first and talk about this. So, folks, here's what we're talking about. I'm going to put down here a $300,000 mortgage at 6%. All right. And I need to show you something. Here's why people pay cash, because they look at the numbers, but they're looking at the numbers in the wrong way. So on this particular $300,000 mortgage at 6%, when we go to close, here's what we find out. It's supposed to be a 360-month loan. 360 months is 30 years. Let me change this payment. Okay, so we got a $300,000 mortgage at 6%. The payment is $1,798.65. That's something we can afford. And that's generally how we buy houses, is based on the payment and what we can afford. Here's what we are also finding out. Here's what the bank wants from us in the form of interest: $347,514 interest on a 30-year loan. We're borrowing $300,000, but the bank wants $347,000 in interest. So what are we paying back? What are we actually paying back for this house? $647,514 for a $300,000 house. Is there anybody who wants to pay $647,000 for a $300,000 house? Anybody? If you don't want to do that, say no in the chat. I don't want to pay $600,000 for a $300,000 house. Put no in the chat. All right. Eric says no. Anybody else saying no to that? Oh, man. She says, okay. Somebody said, hell no. Okay. No. They're not going to pay that kind of money for the house. So here's what I need you to see, folks. When you're looking at this thing, and all of this is background for what we're going to be talking about later. And the $347,514 is over 30 years. This is what the bank is hoping for. Do you know why the bank can put it out there like that and not scare anybody? Because everybody's doing it. Here's some statistics for you. 9 out of 10 people you know, that you personally know, that have a mortgage will never pay off a mortgage. They'll never be a home owner. They'll always be a home buyer. And that's a difference. They'll never be a homeowner, but they'll be a home buyer. Okay. So if they're going to pay $347,000 in interest, and 9 out of 10 people in this situation will, because they'll never pay it off, they will continue to pay on that mortgage. They'll have a mortgage until they die. But here's the thing. Just because the bank asks for $347,000 doesn't mean they have to receive $347,514. Just because they talk about a 30-year loan doesn't mean you have to keep the loan for 30 years. The average time a P.I.L.L method client has a 30-year mortgage is 7 to 9 years. That's it. Not just the mortgage, but their mortgage, their student loans, their car loans, their credit cards can be paid off in an average of 7 to 9 years. And you don't need to make more money, and you don't have to sacrifice lifestyle. You just have to learn how to pay less interest. Somebody's saying, Don, if I had $300,000, I could just pay $300,000 and I would skip out on the $347,000 and interest. I wouldn't have to pay it. Let me go on record right now. Here's what you want to know. It is cheaper to use the P.I.L.L method to pay off your loan, your $300,000 loan, than to pay cash for your house. Why is it cheaper to use the P.I.L.L method and have a mortgage than to pay cash and not have a mortgage? Oh, come on, moderators. If that's hard for you to believe, I need y'all to jump in here too and to help me out with this thing. Okay? Because here's what we're talking about. If I have $300,000, chances are, do I have my $300,000 in some sort of investment, or do I have it in a regular savings account making 1/10 of 1%?
I would have it in investment.
You would have it in an investment. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. So Dawn and everybody else on stage, for me to pay cash for my $300,000 house, will I have to pull my $300,000 out of my investment?
Yes, that's what I did.
Okay. Anybody else? Radia.
Oh no, I was gonna have a caveat on that, but
Come on with it. Come on with it, girl. Listen, I need some help this morning.
I was gonna add some extra to, yes, you do have to pull it out, but hopefully you invest it well enough to where it won't create a taxable event.
Ooh, see, there's a whole lot to think about when you pull that money out of an investment, correct? There's a whole lot you have to think about. So, folks, here's the thing. So, on average, give me an idea, ladies. If I have that money in an investment, what kind of return do you want to have on that money?
I like to see at least a minimum of 7.
7. Okay. 7% compounded interest. That's pretty good money. 7% compounded interest, because compounded interest starts to pay you interest on your interest. That's what we love about compounded interest. Okay. So if you could borrow that money, okay, then you'd have to pay $347,000 over 30 years. But if I take the money out of my investment, then I could avoid the $347,000, and then I don't have to pay interest. But guess what, folks? When you take it out of your investment, that money is no longer making money for you. No longer making money for you.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.